Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Say Report with your hosts, the White Malcolm and Eddie, Devon Decker, and Sejohn Sarowick.
Oh God, I don't. Can we do that? I don't know. I don't think we could do that.
Why can't we do that? I think that that's fine to call ourselves the White Malcolm, Jamal-Warner, and Eddie Griffin.
Okay, fine.
I mean, just the question is which, but like,
Clearly, you're Eddie Griffin.
yeah, right. Like the person who asks, "Can we do that?" is Malcolm Jamal Warner. Glad we got that out of the way. This has been this is what has been keeping me awake nights since I found out that they're showing Malcolm and Eddie on MTV2 and the Fuse network. I have like 27 on my DVR right now.
What has happened to the world that we have so many MTVs and networks and television shows? You know, I don't want to sound like an old man right at the top, but I hate this world. I hate what we've become.
Gee.
The system needs to just be brought down from the inside, and Malcolm and Eddie are the two to do it. That's all I'm saying.
Dude, have you? When's the last time you watched Malcolm and Eddie? Is going to be my question to you.
I think once I watched it when it was first on television. That was it. Like, I don't have any like fond memories of that show. I have no recollection of plot lines. There's nothing. I've got nothing with that show.
I was driving to work and it just like popped in my head. Because like the episode that always stays with me is they make a bet on, they start betting on things, and they bet their bar on a horse named Yadam Skippy. And that like just popped into my head. I have no idea why, but it popped into my head driving to work, and I'm like, man, like Malcolm and Eddie was a show that I really enjoyed. I wonder if it's on anywhere. And then I'm just flipping through the channels at 2 a.m., and there it is on Fuse and MTV2.
Aren't they just like the same network too? Like, what is going on?
I know, like they're very, very similar. I'm not going to lie. Honestly, if surprising me, like against all odds, right? What's up, Phil Collins? Name checked. Is the fact that like MTV2 is higher brow. Because I would have never thought that before.
No, yeah, I know. With the MTV2 is like the older brother of all of those MTV networks, like trying to like keep its act together. MTV2 is like one of the few last places you could go for like music videos and stuff like that.
If it's any consolation, though, people who are hoping for like just the true destruction of entertainment and morality, Floribama Shore will be premiering at the end of December on MTV2.
And surely that will bring the system
and that
down.
is Jersey Shore on the Florida-Alabama coastline. Whole new set of people. Honestly, Sejohn, and if you're listening, go YouTube Floribama Shore. It's spelled the way you think it is. And in the commercial, one of the girls is told that a girl they met was a Wiccan, and she has the greatest Jesus freak-out moment ever. Like, it makes me want to watch this show, and I hate that kind of stuff.
What is? Oh my God! Ignorance should not be rewarded like this, people. What are we doing?
I know. I thought that's what like YouTube was for, but hey, what are you gonna do?
Oh man.
All right. So now that we've discussed MTV2 and Fuse long enough, but yeah, no, Malcolm and Eddie, great show. And here's the thing that I want to talk about. The first 3 episodes of that show are like real down to earth, completely makes sense. Like the 3rd episode, Malcolm takes a job working the 12 to 6 shift at a radio station.
Okay.
Like because he wants to be in sports broadcasting, that's his goal.
Right.
Episode 4.
This is like standard sitcom fare to this point.
Yeah,
right.
right? Yeah. Like they're 2 guys just trying to make it in Kansas City.
Mismatched in some ways, but oddly compatible in other ways.
Exactly. They fill the gaps in each other's like skill sets. And the 4th episode, they win the lottery.
Like hardcore, like turn, just a hard turn. And this is like Roseanne style win the lottery, right? Like this affects the show for the rest of the show,
okay,
right?
So in the first, like, and I didn't realize that, like, because I was watching the show and I watched the first 3, and then like they didn't show the 4th episode. They like jumped to episode 12. So in the first 3 episodes, they hang out at a bar named Kelly's. Like Eddie works at a garage, and like their apartment is like modestly furnished. So then it jumps to the 12th episode. Their apartment looks completely different. And the name of the bar is McGee's, which is Malcolm's last name. So I had to go to Wikipedia to look it up, and I'm like, oh, okay, they win the lottery. And what they do, no, and it's because Eddie plays the numbers wrong. So it is like perfect sitcom trope. Like we have our numbers that we always play, but Eddie screws it up, and that's what makes them win the lottery that day. And then like the central thrust of that episode where they win the lottery is for the first time in Kansas State history, more than one person won. So like they have to divide up the money and da 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 da. But what they do with this money that they get from a lottery, from a sitcom lottery win, they buy the building that they live in, they buy the bar that they hang out at, and Eddie buys the garage she worked in.
Oh man, I mean, what else would you do when you're living the life you want to live, man? Right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, well, I love our apartment. What if we owned the whole building?
What if we owned all the apartments?
What if we became landlords?
Oh God. What are they just like? Are they just like the worst landlords though? Do they just become like slummy like assholes, like
no,
cutting corners on everybody else?
By all like accounts, they're great at everything.
This is fantastic. Like they just basically
like it
they
is
win the lottery
most
and
WB of WB shows.
Was it the WB or was it
WB.
UPN when it?
It might have been
okay.
UPN. I feel like it was WB. I feel like it was after the switch, after
Okay.
this all, but it might have been UPN. You're correct. They've always been the same to me.
Oh yeah,
Is what
they
I'm
were
gonna-
the same. Yeah.
But it's so much fun watching it because also the first season is just like Eddie Griffin doing impersonations of celebrities. So like he plays Tafknap, which is what they call the artist formerly known as Prince. He does a great like Prince segment that's like 6 minutes long and is incredible. And then like later on he does Sammy Davis Jr. and
Man.
it's like spot on. But like the show comes to a screeching halt to have these like celebrity impersonation moments, and it's like, yeah, okay, I'm all about it.
Well, this is Eddie Griffin doing them, right?
Yeah, Eddie Griffin. Yeah, this is when Eddie Griffin was huge.
And he was at the top of his game. Like he was doing movies and doing the impersonations, and that was kind of like that was the shtick if you wanted to be a black comedian in the mid 2000s, right? Like look at any
Well, it's the late 90s. So he set
late
that.
90s, yeah,
96
so
to 2000 the show ran.
So he's the one that to blame for Blue Streak or Big Mama's House.
Yeah, kinda. Like I hate to be that person who
That's not
puts
true.
it on
Eddie
Eddie
Murphy
Griffin.
really is. If you really want to look at like the clumps and like and
It's
that
like
sort
a
of
weird
stuff.
combination of the two.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know. I love the show though. I honestly do. And the crazy thing to me is all of my memories I've come to find out are from the third season on, when they owned the jazz club, the 50/50 Club.
Okay. There is a lot going on
Dude,
in this
like,
show
there's
that I didn't
so
even
much
realize
goes
had 3 seasons.
Yeah, it's 4. It has 4 seasons overall.
Okay.
And like the other
That's
thing that I
respectable.
realized is that
that's pretty hefty, actually.
the finale episode is like one of the I watched it live. Like I had become a big enough fan catching random episodes from the third season that I saw the last episode live.
You know, it's really interesting that you talk about this, Devon, because I've been having some thoughts about finishing things lately, and it's really interesting that you led me right there.
Dude, that's what we do, right? White Malcolm
Right.
and Eddie.
No, I just like that's really cool. You got so involved with it that you wanted to be there for the end of it, right? And that doesn't always happen with television shows, right? Like there's points where you fall off, but then there's also points where you're so invested you're like I got to watch this to the end. I was listening to Neil Patrick Harris talk this week, and that's what had me thinking about this sort of stuff to start off with, because How I Met Your Mother, and like they asked him point blank.
Can I just interject real quickly before
Yeah.
we go off on this?
Yeah.
On this day, we're recording a little bit early because Christmas. Just so if you're trying to map out the timeline, I went to go see Force Awakens 2 years ago, and the people behind me, and I thought this was prescient enough to post about it on Facebook, had an in-depth conversation discussing the finale of How I Met Your Mother. So all sorts of congruence. Please continue.
Well, like, but you're one of the people I know muscled it out to the end because you felt like you were so invested in that show you had to see it, right? Like, or did you drop off? Did you give up on that show?
I did not know. That was a show that like as we got to I'm gonna say the 7th season in this house where like after every episode it was why do we still watch this?
Mm-hmm.
We're not doing this anymore. And
Right,
then
right.
next Monday would roll along, and it would tape on the DVR, and we're like, we're just gonna watch it, right? We're just gonna watch it,
Hmm.
and then
Yeah,
that.
that's what I mean. Is that you just kind of forced yourself to get to the end of it because I mean, like you put 7 years into that show, and it was a show that you were like emotionally. I mean, I don't mean you personally. I mean, I
Well,
too was
that
emotionally
first
invested
season, I
in,
was
right?
so emotionally invested. I
Yeah,
would watch the first season of How I Met Your Mother. I would watch every episode 4 times,
yeah.
like within
I
the first day it aired.
Yeah, and I can't, and I now I have such a hard time even going back to that after everything that happened on that show. But that doesn't always happen. And I was thinking about this specifically because I have been trying really hard to just finish any video game lately. Like just finish a video game. It came to my attention that in the last year, I think that I've started, a dozen or so different games, and I don't know if I've ever actually gotten to the end of any of them this year. And that happens usually for me. Like usually what I'll do is I'll start in a year, we'll say a solid dozen games, and I will usually finish two or three of them. But this might be the first year where I don't know if I got to the end of anything that I started. I don't know. I've got to like really think back and think out of my playing this year and see if I can remember getting to the end of anything. I guess technically, if you want to think about it, the BioShock games, I got to the end of one and two, but then I gave up and didn't get to the end of Infinite.
Had you
Because
already
I'd been
finished them?
I had finished Infinite on its own, yeah, and I had
Okay.
already finished those. So like, it's not like I haven't seen the endings for those, but like, I got Darksiders again, Darksiders 2 again for the because it was free on PS4 this month, and like I love that game, and I can't tell you how many times I've started that game and never finished it. I have not seen past the first like 20 hours of that game, and but the real reason I was thinking about it with video games, though, is I am feeling so determined to see every nook and cranny and to finish and 100% this stupid Mario Rabbids game on the Switch. I've been sitting around collecting stuff, and it's just driving me crazy because I'm like, oh, I can't get to that one piece of artwork that I know is over there because I don't have this move yet. And I gotta go get this move, and so I'll play for 3 hours just to get this move. And the first thing I do is I'm gonna go back and get that piece of artwork. I know it's over in that box over there. I'm just like I'm so determined to finish this thing, and I'm like, what am I doing? I haven't finished any of like the. It feels like I haven't finished any of the real games this year. What am I doing with this stupid game?
So I 100% get where you're coming from. So like now, thank you for reminding me that the Nintendo Switch happened, because like I was thinking I haven't finished anything except for Link to the Past, and I don't know if that counts because like yesterday morning, Dale came downstairs and she's like, "How many of these have you finished?" As I played another one, and I'm like, I don't know. I did like 50 in the first year that I was playing it. So she's like, it's been what, like 3 months since that. So like, you gotta be north of 100, right? And I'm like,
Hmm.
oh God, yeah. I've seen the end of Link to the Past at least like 100 times.
Yeah,
But then
man.
I'm like, but have I finished anything else? And I did finish Mario Odyssey. I finished Breath of the Wild and Tekken 7. I got that platinum in 2 days. So
That's
like, I
awesome.
have some that I can say I played to completion. But even then, like Super Mario Odyssey, I get where you're coming from. The problem is for me, and what I hope does not happen to you with Rabbids, is it burned me out.
Hmm.
It burned me out trying to get everything in Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, and like I've had that experience with movies where like I was really enjoying a movie and it just wouldn't end, and so like forcing me to get to the end of it, it's just like Cloverfield Lane was a perfect example of that. There was a moment when that movie should have ended and it didn't, and the last 10 minutes of that movie just kind of like you're saying like just burned me out, and it was actually like a slog to get through the last 10 minutes of that movie. I just didn't want to be sitting in that theater anymore, and it kind of ruined the rest of the movie for me, like. But with movies, I'm always going to finish them. Like I mean, no matter how I end up feeling about them 20 minutes in, I'm like, well, I'm invested now. Here I am. Like, I've already put my time aside to watch this. Let's just finish it, so that I can at least, like, I don't know, pick it apart better later. I don't know why. With movies, I'm totally okay with it. With TV shows, I will fall away. Like, there are certain shows that I just felt I had to finish because of how much, emotional investment I had in them. But more than often than not, I won't finish a show. I fell off of Supernatural. I've kind of fallen off of Who over the last couple of years. Um, Only to like want to get back on at some point. I'm not saying that with video games and stuff like that. That when I'm not finishing them, it just means I'm just like packing them away to collect dust. Like I'll come back to stuff 1,000 times. I just by the time I come back, I don't know if I should restart. I don't know if I should create a new character. It's this like it's killer, man. And I want to finish a game. I don't know. I don't know what happened to me. At what point in my life did I stop doing this?
Well, just for the record, the only movie I have never finished, and I have no intention of going back to, is American Beauty. And I got real close to the end of American Beauty, but it just, I'm like, no, I'm done. You don't get any more of my time, American Beauty. I'm
What was the
sorry.
moment that like that did it for you? Do you know?
I don't even recall. I'm just like,
Do you
why
know what
is
happens
this
at the end
still
of that
happen?
movie?
I do. I mean, I know what happens. Like I've heard
I mean,
about what
spoiler
happens.
alert.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was well before that. Like
Yeah.
it was like there's still like I think if I were looking at it, I still have like 39 minutes left in that movie.
That's kind of funny to me because I feel like that movie is its ending. Like as good as the rest of the stuff in that movie is, it's so hard to talk about this movie right now. But anyway, we're gonna do it. As good as the rest of that movie is, the ending is what kind of makes that entire story. Like it's the point. Like in a way that most endings are the end. But that's just like I don't know how to say it. You know how to say it? Most movies are about the journey, not the destination. This is one of the few movies that is entirely about the destination, I think.
Right. So that like reminds me of like Lost in Translation, which is a movie I can't believe I finished. Because like, and I wouldn't have finished it if Chris Daly were not in our living room. Because like we would have stopped.
Forcing you to finish it.
Like it was a whole Decker excursion, and Chris Daly was there, and we start that movie, and like 20 minutes in, every Decker is like, we can stop this. Like, no, thank you, Lost in Translation. But he's like, no, we're gonna finish it, and like, okay, you're a guest, right? So we'll do it. And we kept watching it, and I'm just like, this is still not for me. But like, I hear people talk about Lost in Translation, and it's all about that final scene for them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get where you're coming from, but it just did not work for me.
No, that's hey man. Like I actually don't like. I think that in retrospect, American Beauty is not the movie we all kind of like blew it up to be at its time. And that's saying that with a lot of new knowledge about the people involved, but also about like storytelling and violence and characterizations and all this sort of stuff. Like there's a bunch of stuff in that movie that looking back on it now is actually at the time was like edgy and groundbreaking like cinema stuff to like talk about and to put on screen and filmed in at the time like artful ways, but now it all just feels so pompous and up its own ass. Which I'm sure people at the time, there were people probably saying the same thing, and we all probably thought they were assholes, but now I agree with them, so.
Well, that's like the weird part about a lot of cinema is that there is this zeitgeist moment around its release where like it can do no wrong and the flaws are kind of forgotten.
Yeah.
But then as time goes by, cracks of light are allowed in and you get to see, the forest for the trees.
Yeah, well, and it's one of the great things about film over any other medium of storytelling, right? Is that like it is preserved as it is. Like what you watch 20 years from now is the same thing that I will watch tomorrow. So like we will be able to talk about it in a new light 20 years from now, which will be awesome.
It's true. Very, very true. And to also tie into the whole finishing thing. Well, first of all, talking about movies that like, you know what? Another movie I've never finished, right? And I have no intention to go back to. But then I found out that like I literally had 5 minutes left in the movie, so I count it as like a finished one. That is Saturday Night Fever.
Oh man.
Which Saturday Night Fever, because all right, so I was trying to get a job as an MC at a little club. And what the guy wanted me to prepare was as if I was introducing the Bee Gees during Saturday Night Fever's release. This is what the guy wanted me to audition with to MC at their club.
Oh, that's a weird set of parameters, but okay.
Okay, so that meant that I had to see Saturday Night Fever. I had never seen it before, and I was like in high school, like skirting 18, right? Because I'm like, this will be a cool gig, right? There was like a music club. It was fun. I ended up getting the job. Spoilers for the story. And I watched the movie, and like, there's a lot of that movie that I really enjoy. And then the end of the film is like date rape.
Yep.
And you're supposed to be completely okay with that date rape because it's of the time, and that's like what happened. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm done with this. Like, this movie had all these moments, and then you ended it with date rape. I'm sorry, movie. I'm sorry. 2003, Devon, not okay with this. It's always weird to me thinking about that movie that it was Gene Siskel's favorite movie. And
Yeah, man. A lot of people really held that movie in high esteem.
he owned the jumpsuit from the film. And he didn't just
Oh,
own it. Like, it wasn't like something he hung on the wall. He wore it around.
oh God, like Ben in the Batman outfit. Yeah, man. Like
I don't know.
it's a weird fucking movie to look back on now, and you're right. Like thinking that one of the most prolific like cinema academics of our lifetime like actually considered it to be the greatest film ever made is weird. Is really weird. It's also part of the reason that I think we always have such a hard time with the question, what is your favorite movie? Right? It's like, well, you mean of the moment? You mean of what genre? Like you can't answer that, right?
Right. Like my answer to that question is always A Few Good Men. But I think it's because it's like the first movie I remember. And the Deckers have watched that movie. When my father received that on VHS, it played like 3 times a day in our house.
Yeah. You gonna watch that live version?
What? There's gonna be a live version of A Few Good Men?
Yeah, this month at some point. CBS I think is doing it, and Aaron Sorkin like came and made sure the script was like good to go and all that stuff.
This is real. This is real. What you're telling
This
me?
is
You're not
real.
thinking
This
of
is
A
real.
Christmas Story?
No, I think CBS is doing a musical, and they're doing A Few Good Men. I think they decided they wanted to do 2 this year, and I
Well,
think
it
the
is
musical
25th
is.
anniversary of the movie, so it makes sense.
Let me do some research while you keep talking. Keep telling you.
So like that's my answer. But then yesterday I was thinking about I can't remember the movie that I brought up, but I'm like that is quintessentially the 90s. Like it is the movie that I would say if I have to pick top 10 movies from the 90s, not from the 90s, of the 90s, right? Like representative of the 90s, this film would be in my top 10. Like probably top 3. God, it was Clueless was one of them, but it wasn't Clueless. Oh, I wish I could remember. Because I was like, real happy when I said
was
it.
Clueless, but it wasn't Clueless.
No.
Was it Romeo and Michelle's High School Reunion?
No. Clueless was one of them. I'm like, Clueless would be my number 2, but this would probably be my number 1. And for the life of me right now, I cannot remember what film I said that about. Which really talks to just like how much it actually means to me and supports your whole point about my favorite movie is. But I was thinking about like just stuff that is indicative of the time. And this film, this mystery film that I have now forgotten, was it. And it's because Dale has never seen it. It's The Truth About Cats and Dogs. Dale has seen it. It's because we own 3 copies of it. We were cleaning the basement last night, getting ready for the solstice, and we found 3 copies of The Truth About Cats and Dogs. And I'm like, you know what? That movie is so 90s. Like, everything about that movie is
it's extremely 90s, man. Like, the soundtrack, the actors, everything in it
phone sex just in general, but then on, like, cordless phones. Like,
all right. You ready for me to blow your mind a little bit?
Blow my mind a little bit.
Okay, so this is definitely happening. They decided to push it back to 2018, and with that announcement, they also announced that they cast Alec Baldwin as Jessup.
All right, I can deal with it.
Yeah, so they're apparently not going to cannibalize themselves by putting 2 live shows in December like they originally thought. So they're pushing it back to 2018. But they're doing it, and Sorkin came in and did some script work for it, and they cast Alec Baldwin. So A Few Good Men live on NBC. Check it out.
It's NBC.
Yeah. Sorry, that's the other thing is it was NBC, not CBS.
Because it's right up CBS's alley. It's about the Navy.
Yeah, it's about Navy court.
Hard end. Just as about the Navy. But CBS is going to scoop that right up.
Navy courts always sells well on CBS.
They love it. They love it. Jag. And to be fair, A Few Good Men is the reason why we had the show Jag. Because Donna Belisario like, I've been kicking around an idea for a show. It's like that movie that got an Academy Award nomination for Best Picture. Lost to Unforgiven, but let's forgive it and create Jag. I'm so sorry. Oh my God. I went down a line with that one.
Oh man.
But yes. So yeah, I will watch that. Like just to answer it. And to finish up your whole finishing things, right? At Zerwinski on Twitter, which I believe is your brother, right? Like I'm just trying to make sure I'm connecting the dots.
Yes.
Sent us a recommendation to At the Say Report to watch the Psych movie. And he cited it as a Christmas film.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw this. I don't know how often you check
Not
your
yet.
Twitter, but it's available on USA.com. You can watch
Okay.
it for free right now. You don't need to have anything sort of thing. But I had DVR'd it. Now,
Oh.
Psych.
Oh no, wait, but I haven't finished Psych because it's one of the ones that I want to finish. I just fell off of.
That's exactly what I was saying. Like, that is a show that, like, that first season I loved, but then season number 2, I just fell away from
Oh,
Psych.
I got much deeper than that. I got all the way up to like seasons like 3 or 4 or something
Right.
like that. Like I got real deep. I got into like 2 or 3 John Cena episodes. 3 John Cena's deep.
I don't know how to respond to that, but thank you. Um, and that's like the thing. So like I used to watch it religiously, but then I would like catch episodes if it was on and I didn't have anything else going. But I never watched it with any sort of like this is a show I need to watch.
Right.
But then like the season finale came along and I watched the season finale. And part of the reason I know that is because Psych the movie relies heavily on the fact that you saw that season finale.
Hmm.
And Dale did not. So we watched this yesterday after we found Three Truth About Cats and Dogs. And she's like, I don't know who a lot of these people are. I don't really know what's going on. And I'm like, I do. But the problem with the Psych movie is it was just sort of a reminder of why I stopped watching Psych. Like
Oh, that probably
why
means
I
I'll love.
fell off the bandwagon. But you said you didn't finish it either.
No, that's true.
So
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
was so like I am curious if
Well, I think one of the reasons that I didn't finish Psych, and this is true of anything like before 5 years ago, essentially, is that it didn't come. There wasn't anywhere for it to go. Once it was on TV, it was on. Like DVRs were getting popular, and on demand was getting really big when Psych was big. But like Hulu wasn't the beast that it is now. Netflix wasn't the monster that it is now. So like it's not like Psych ended up anywhere that I would have been consuming it.
I mean
That was
Psych
part of
was
the
on
problem.
Netflix for like a bunch of years. They
That
just recently lost it.
Psych was on Netflix.
Psych was
Nobody
on
told me these
Netflix,
things.
yeah. I'm so no, but also that
My
sort of
Google alerts
ties
failed
into
me.
my whole thing though, is that like it was somewhere where you could have consumed it. How much did you really care about this show? Because that
Mm.
is what watching this movie was for me. Was just like, okay, like I get it. Like I see why I liked it. I see why. God, 11 years ago, Devon loved this show. But I also understand why 10 years ago, Devon was like, if I don't see an episode of Psych, my life will not be over.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I would recommend it. I didn't think, actually, I'm not going to say anything, right? It's out there on USA. You can watch it. And I think that after you watch it, it'd be interesting to come back to have a discussion, if you're willing.
Yeah. If it makes it on the docket of the 30 other Christmas movies and episodes that we've got lined up, but yeah,
Just watch it, dude. Go watch it right now. What are you doing?
I'm recording a show.
No, I mean after the recording. Damn you, Sejohn. Damn you to hell. But it's like, yeah, it was weird. Like it was like, and it's weird that you bring that up, like finishing, because like I felt like I should watch the season finale of Psych,
Mhm.
even though I haven't watched for like 7 seasons. I feel like I should see how this ends. And I watched it, and then I'm watching the final, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this stuff. I wouldn't have remembered it if I didn't watch this movie. I don't know.
So what have you been up to this week, Devin?
Oh gosh. Oh, besides all of that,
Mm-hmm.
I bought another Super Nintendo. That was fun. I went to a used game shop and they had a used Super Nintendo.
All right, so
I
it's not
bought that.
Nintendo. I thought okay. I'm just thinking, how much money has Nintendo gotten from you? It's sure gotten a lot of your time lately. So if your time costs nothing, I guess I don't know.
I also bought a Master Sword, like a cosplay Master Sword, because it had gone from $50 to $10.
Damn.
So I'm like, yeah, $10 is what I'm willing to pay for this.
Is
$10
it movie
is also
accurate?
a little bit steep. What? It's
Is it-
accurate to Ocarina of Time.
Nice. Okay.
So that kind of bums me out because that's not my jam. My jam is Link to the Past. But it's still like the fucking Master Sword. And
Right.
it looks cool. I have it hung above my monitor, so I'm looking at it right now as I talk to you.
Is it right next to the chicken roll-ups or what?
No, it's above them. It's right above
It's
the chicken roll-ups.
It's above the chicken roll-ups.
which
God.
which the
When you
chicken
pry the
roll-ups
sword from the chicken roll-ups,
the
you will
chicken
become a
roll-ups are
legend of time.
partially obscured by the Embassy Liquors sign from Urinetown.
Oh man, I didn't know
Because
you still had those pieces around.
oh god, yeah, dude, like a lot of them I built, so
Yeah.
like it's like there's just nice stuff to have in the house. Tavern Brew from Beauty and the Beast is hanging in our living room still.
Awesome. Yeah, we put together some good quality crap back then when we were working on that shop.
Yeah, we really did. But yeah, so I did that. I'm trying to think of other stuff. Oh, I told Buffalo Wild Wings to go fuck itself one more time. That was fun. Here's a question for you.
What?
Here's a question for you. Um,
You just walk up to the building like a cranky old man, start yelling at it, "Get out of my town!"
no. So I mean, I got thrown out of the Warwick Mall Buffalo Wild Wings. I think I told you that story, possibly off mic.
Okay. Yes, I think you have.
But you know, because I used some colorful language and the whole thing escalated. But then, like 2 weeks ago, I went to the Buffalo Wild Wings up in Seekonk, and it was fine, right? Because they don't care. Plus, Arby's bought Buffalo Wild Wings, and Arby's doesn't give a fuck. Right? Like, let's just talk about it. Arby's doesn't care if you swear at a fucking Buffalo Wild Wings. They'll just give you
Arby's-
extra horsey sauce.
Yeah, oh yeah. Arby's doesn't care about you as a person or your well-being at all. But
Yeah.
that's clear. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Your child heard a swear word at Buffalo Wild Wings?
Maybe don't take your kid to a sports bar with a billion TVs. Anyway.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Thank you, Sejohn. So then, like, while I was there, I didn't have chicken wings. I had a burger, and it was one of the greatest burgers I ever had.
Excellent.
Because in addition to having cheese on it, it had cheese curds on it.
That's awesome.
It was like a delicious little piece.
Oh, heart attack in a bun.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I'm in Connecticut doing used game store shopping with Dale, and then there's like a Buffalo Wild Wings at the Crystal Mall. So we're like, why don't we go to Buffalo Wild Wings, right? There's no sports on until 4. It's noon. So you'll have like a bit of a lunch rush, but it shouldn't be that long a wait. There's a wait when we go in, but we're like, we don't care. We want to have this burger. It's a tasty burger. And we give our name, and then the girl's like, okay, and then goes to walk away. And I'm like, no, how long is the wait going to be? Right? Like,
Yeah,
Hostess
exactly,
101, as far as I'm concerned. You know, right? And you don't need to know. You just got to give me an answer to that question. And she goes, I can't tell you that. And I'm like, what? Is
That's
it
not a weird
secret?
question at a. That's not. Yeah, that's not a weird question at a restaurant. That's not a weird question at all. How long will the wait be? She shouldn't be so offended.
She's like, I can't tell you that. And I'm like, and she goes, like, it depends on when people leave. And I look at her and I go, you could just take her name off the list then. Thank you.
Oh my
Because,
god.
like, what are you doing?
Oh my god.
Could you imagine that?
You find the best people though. That's what it is. You bring out the best in people.
I guess, but you know, like, I had really good. That was the only negative interaction of my entire day yesterday. Was a hostess who's like, I can't tell you how long the wait will be.
I can't do my job.
I
I'm
can't
sorry.
do that. I can't do that. I'd have to tell everybody. You should tell everybody.
She just doesn't want to make you a promise she couldn't keep, Devon. I think that's a noble thing
No,
nowadays.
it's not noble. That's good. That's a good answer. Sejohn gets credit for what he just said. But, like, no. Lie to me. And then if it's a little bit longer, you just need to placate me. 15 to 20 minutes, I would have been like, yeah, okay.
I mean, that's what the service industry really is. It's all just there to just placate the masses. They're
Yeah,
not,
people
like...
don't know this, but the full title of the service industry is the lip service industry. They tell you what you want to fucking hear.
Oh my god. You know, it's a joyous time of year.
It is, right? And I'm like, and it didn't affect my day. You know, like, I still had a good day, but I could not believe, like, that question. She was, like, so offended. Like, how dare you? I can't tell you. What am I, a psychic? I don't need to know exactly down to the second. You're going to be waiting for 16 minutes, 32 seconds, and a half.
Oh my god.
Oh, man. If it were just 16, maybe 16:30, but those extra 2 seconds... You take my name off the list.
You feel real burned by this hostess.
No. You know what it is, man? It's just like, I haven't worked in the service industry for a real long time, right? But I just feel like the world, right? Now it's my turn to be a cranky old man. But I just feel like the world doesn't give a shit anymore. Like in retail and stuff, it's like...
let the hate flow through you,
oh,
yes.
Shut up. Shut up. But I felt this way for a long time, right? Like, people don't smile at work. When I worked at Blockbuster, I smiled all the time. Like, you have to be happy
that was
where
like
you
part
are.
of the job, man, right? Like,
No, it wasn't. I was legitimately happy to be a Blockbuster.
But I mean, like, in the service industry, part of your job is making sure that you don't look like you're miserable doing it, you know? And that's one of the worst experiences as a consumer, is to go somewhere and watch somebody not have fun doing this thing helping you. You just feel like you're like a burden on them. And that's not what you want in the world, right?
Right.
I think we've gotten to a point where we shouldn't have to feel like we're burdening other people when we want a burger in our lives.
Dude, and let's like just talk about the fact that like we currently live in a world where like the internet is there. The internet could be gone soon, right? Hashtag net neutrality. But I'm sorry, I love what I just did.
It's amazing, you know. We're in on the fight, and guess what side we're on?
Yeah, but like honestly, the internet does exist, right? And I can go on Amazon. I have not bought a single thing for Christmas in a store. Everything was bought on the internet.
Yeah, man.
Everything was bought on the internet. And part of that is because when I go to the store, it's like 9 times out of 10, the person helping me looks like they're fucking miserable. My computer never looks miserable.
No, my computer has naked ladies and happy people on it. My computer's the happiest machine in my house.
My computer is the shiny happy people REM sang about.
And maybe that's it, man. Maybe that's when everything just started to go wrong. Maybe we've given too much power to these machines.
Oh, I thought it was when REM recorded Shiny Happy People.
That was the moment. We gave too much power to those machines, man.
Is that what the M in REM stands for? Machines?
Really, everyone's machines. That's what REM stands for.
I put you on the spot there. And I know that with, like, actual preparation, you could do better. But really, everyone's machines. A+ for effort. A+ for effort.
Thanks.
I got to give you credit when you earn it, buddy.
Hey, man.
Got to give you credit when you earn it.
Yeah, see, here we go. We're coming up on a year of podcasting together, and we're hitting the Christmas times. We're finally starting to find a groove here. I appreciate that you recognizing the effort I've put in this past year. That's all.
And I appreciate you continually trying to tear me down to make yourself feel just a little bit better. That was real cocky when I just said, I'm so sorry. Dude, I almost watched Bean, right? If we didn't have to record the podcast today, I would still be watching 1997's Bean.
I freaking love that movie.
I know you freaking love that movie.
He wipes the face off of that stupid painting. It is the most, like... It was the worst idea ever. Like, that's what I love about that movie. It was just bad idea after bad idea after bad idea, and them not knowing how to dig themselves out of the hole, so they kept digging themselves deeper, and then they put it on screen for us all to enjoy.
Dude,
like
so many background and side characters from Ghostbusters 2 are in Bean. That is what I'm going to like. That is all you think of. Peter McNichols, the guy who plays the judge, the guy who thinks the world is going to end February 14th, 2016. Like, they're all there on display. I don't know their names. I don't know those actors' names. But, like, I know Peter McNichol.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got Peter McNichol. It's the important one.
But, like, I'm just watching it, and I'm like, this is crazy, right? Because this is 8 years after Ghostbusters 2. Where were these people? Were they just in stasis waiting for another movie? That's a bad idea.
Waiting for Rowan Atkinson to come along and pull them back into some terrible idea of a film. I just, like, Bean is just phenomenal in its, like, unnecessariness. Like, everything that happens in that movie is just like, hey, America, do you think you might like this comedy too? And America was like, no, we don't like that comedy at all. Essentially, it was that entire movie. And I mean, the Americans in that film are straight up just like, this isn't funny to us. This is a horror show. This is our jobs. This is our lives, and you're destroying it.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. that movie is like, you talk about how, like, My Cousin Vinny is a horror movie. Bean is a goddamn horror movie.
Yes.
No.
The stranger comes into your house, doesn't talk, just like speaks in like fart noises and waggling his eyebrows.
Magic.
Oh God! Talk to my kids about magic, you weirdo.
Dude, what about when he gets to LA, right? This is when I had to stop it, was after this, because I'm like, if I don't, I had to put on Malcolm and Eddie, because I would have continued to watch Bean and I would have missed our agreed upon time to record. When he's in the LA airport and he sees the cop, so he pretends that he has a gun, that is like the scariest fucking thing ever.
Yeah.
Because
oh my God,
dude,
it's
5
crazy.
years after the riots,
Oh man,
this
you know
guy
what's
is
weird
chased
though?
out by 4 LA police officers because they think he has a gun.
I wonder if this is a Christmas movie. Mr. Bean's Holiday that came out many years
Mr.
later.
Bean's Holiday is not a Christmas movie
Is
because he
it just a
goes to the
vacation?
Cannes Film Festival,
That's what it is.
which is before Christmas.
But anyway,
How good is Mr.
Willem
Bean's
Dafoe.
Holiday?
Mr. Bean's Holiday is a fantastic movie because they didn't make it they didn't make an American film with Mr. Bean in it. They just made a Mr. Bean film. Like that's the worst sin of the Bean movie is that it's not Mr. Bean's movie. It's like look at all this look at this weird it's like they took Mr. Bean and they put him in a different genre of film entirely and it's just super bizarre. Mr. Bean's Holiday is the stupid slapsticky PG comedy. Like
That movie is
it's
legit
It's
rated
G-rated.
G. Because I remember when we saw it, you're like, bullshit, this movie's rated G. Bullshit. And I'm
It's
like,
live action. They don't give G ratings to live action
no,
films.
they don't. But that movie is so... Dude, when they're dancing for money, that makes me laugh every time. To
And
Mr. Bombastic...
Yeah, man. Oh my God. But Willem Dafoe plays the villain in a G-rated family movie. All right.
Oh, he's
but
not
anyway,
really the villain. He's just like...
he's the heel.
He's a
like
heel. Like, he's...
Yeah.
Dude, it's a G-rated film, and basically Mr. Bean accidentally abducts a child. Like, that's the story of that movie.
But it's funny. But see, it wasn't Bean PG-13 because I mean, there's like straight up
Bean
nudity
is
at some point.
PG-13. Yeah, it's like, dude, he's giving everybody the finger. Because
Yes,
they do that
yes.
joke where somebody gives him the finger so he thinks that's how they say hello in America. Like that old chestnut from the 90s.
Yeah, that dude from England didn't know how they talk in America.
In 97.
Oh my God. That movie is just so unnecessary. Unnecessary.
It's playing again on Friday at
I got to the end of
6:40
it.
a.m. and I'm going to watch the whole thing again
Yeah,
as
man.
an adult. And then I'm going to see Pitch Perfect 3. And then I'm going to try to see you.
Aw.
Right?
Yeah, man. That's the
22nd,
hope.
right? That's what you're here?
I'm hoping to get in then. Yeah, we're trying to see what's going on with the planes, though. There's apparently going to be some major storming on this side.
Jeez. There's
Yeah,
no major
man.
storming here. I woke up on Thursday, right? Fear of fears. Everybody knows that I was able to see Star Wars. But I woke up on Thursday and I go to work. Now, you know where I live, right? There's there's basically one entrance into my neighborhood.
Right.
But that road, you can go left or you can go right. So I go left to like Hopkins Hill Road, main road, and then I get there and there's a cop and the road is closed due to like the weather. So
Oh,
he's like,
God.
you're gonna have to turn around. So I'm like, well, I need to. Where am I? Okay. So I guess I'll go up Mishnock Road, right? Like, because it's the closest one. So I go up Mishnock Road until that is closed by a police officer as well.
Oh, no.
So
You're
I'm
trapped.
like, what do I do? And he's like, I don't know. It's really bad. Like, the road did not get plowed. There's an accident up there. That's why we're just diverting traffic. So I went home.
Yeah,
I
man.
called work. I'm like, every road out of my neighborhood is closed. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
But like,
That's weird.
dude, and then like by like 1 o'clock, all of the snow was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was the craziest, like, global warming, right?
Yeah, man. The machines are trying to slowly kill us. That's what I'm telling you.
Oh my God! What did you just watch? The Matrix? What the hell?
No, I just always feel this way. It's fine.
Okay, I gotcha.
This is the base of my anxiety.
It's
is
fine.
that secretly.
I've got my pride. You've got your orange crush.
Ouch! Oh, that would hurt.
Dude, Yeah, it should
That
have
was
hurt.
brilliant.
That
That was
should have
brilliant,
hurt.
but it hurt miles away, and I
I
felt it.
meant to hurt you. Oh
Oh
man. So what
God.
about you? What was your week like? Bunch of
Uh,
Badvent, I imagine.
Yeah, I've been doing Badvent like crazy. Trying to work in some newer stuff this year. You know, past years Badvent has kind of fallen to the wayside. About 10 or 11 attempts in attempts. I don't know what you call it. Movies, films, episodes in. Just because like you run out of stuff that's really kind of interesting, and you know life happens and all that sort of stuff. But I've really been trying to keep up with like doing at least something every day. So even if it means that I sit down and just watch a 20-minute just Christmas episode of a television show or what have you. Thursday nights, anybody that listens to the Star Wars special will know that or follows my Twitter will know that I supplemented Star Wars The Last Jedi for my Badvent watching, because apparently that's what I'm going to get for Christmas from Disney. They gave me some Star Wars, some Stars War. Yeah, so like I've been making excuses is what I'm getting to for like certain things to fit in. But I've actually been finding some really interesting stuff in this like weird style of watching, like going back and watching the Futurama Christmas episode and like watching the pilot for The Simpsons. But then also like last night we did Cutthroat Kitchen as a Christmas episode, and so we watched that, and that was actually super fun. Have you ever watched that show, Devon?
No, I have no idea what that is. All I think of is Cutthroat Island, and I'm instantly angry.
Cutthroat Cutthroat Kitchens is this
Gina
awesome
Davis,
little.
you betrayed us. You betrayed us, Gina Davis.
That movie should have been so much better. Cutthroat Island should have been a great. Anyway,
Honestly, what betrayed us was the marketing. Like marketing sold a movie that movie could not be. Sorry, Cutthroat Kitchen is a show.
Yeah, Alton Brown hosts it. It's a competition show, and it's pretty funny. Each contestant starts out with a $25,000 pot, and what they do is throughout the episode, Alton Brown will throw kind of like curveballs at them, like now you have to cook on this little candle instead of on a big old stove. And so what you do with your money is you bet on that curveball, and then you can give it to whoever you want, right? Like, so if I want to make this dude that's been winning the whole time really kind of falter, I will bet $5,000 on that candle, and then I will hand him the candle and he has to cook on it, right? And so like it gets really super silly. There's a Boy Scouts camping episode that's pretty funny where some dude has to like cook out on the lake. It's weird. Like there's all sorts of weird stuff that they do. So the Christmas episode is phenomenal because it's basically a show just about being as shitty as you can. And they went out and they found perhaps like the worst people in the world. Like they're just mean and cruel to each other. So it's the most like not Christmassy Christmas episode because everything is Christmas themed. All of the traps are Christmas style traps. One dude had to leave all of his cooking ingredients behind that he had picked out of the nice fancy store, and he had to then instead use whatever was under the Christmas tree, quote unquote. And so he had to sit there and spend the first 10 minutes of his cooking time unwrapping all of these gifts under the tree. And like some of them were awesome, like pieces of food merchandise, but then other things were like socks and underwear. And he's like, what am I supposed to do with this? So like just sitting there watching these terrible people ripping each other apart with just like Christmas stuff all over, and Alton Brown with a Santa hat on just gleefully like taking it all in. It was like, honestly, it was like watching my family. It was so good. I was just sitting there and I'm just like, this is it. This is the true holiday special. There isn't a person here trying to be nice. But yeah, Badvent's been kind of taking up a lot of my spare time. Then doing some Star Wars and then retail time at Christmas. Just all sorts of glorious people. Maybe that's why I'm so miserable working retail at Christmas right now.
Do you still smile when you're working though?
Yeah.
Just to address something else that we talked about.
No, yes, of course I do. And maybe it's the faking it so much that now I just need some time to not.
I get it. Like when you're at home, you want to be a miserable bastard. I get that. But as long as when you're at work, you're smiling. First of all, right, here's some pro tips for life. If you're like trying to have a good time at work, work goes by faster. Mm-hmm. If you feel like work is dragging, try to flip your switch to positive.
Oh my God.
That's all I got.
Yep.
I can't do this anymore. Like ways to be a better retail worker. I've been out of the game so long.
We got to get into the motivational posters. That's what we got to do. Motivate
Rolled
ourselves.
Chicken tacos. They'll be back someday.
That's your motivational poster. There you go, right there.
Hope is a rolled chicken taco. They'll be back on the menu someday.
Oh man.
I had something before I turned the poster that is in my basement into a motivational one. Futurama happened. Oh, so now that like we're a little bit removed from the day that Last Jedi came out, I would like to say, I mean, you can listen to our spoiler episode after you've seen it, see where we were at immediately after seeing the film. But I'd like to say we kind of represent the entire cross-section of Star Wars fans. Because people either love it or they hate it. Mm-hmm. And that's nice, right?
Yeah, man.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard from many a person that just really enjoyed their time with it. But I will say that I don't have a solid group around me of people that love Star Wars. You know, I've got 2 or 3 people out here that I know there are as big a nerds as me. But I don't know. I don't got enough nerds around me anymore. I need to work on that. I need to build up my nerd pack, my nerd cred.
I'd like video game friends again. Like I'd like friends that I could like. Hey, you want to do Zelda co-op? Let's do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So like,
I got you. I got a phone call yesterday from someone who saw Last Jedi. It was Jeff because he asked me what my reaction was. And the only thing he said to me was, I understand your reaction now. And I'm like, oh, good. I'm glad. Is yours the same? And he's like, yeah, it is. So, like, that felt good. It felt nice to know that, like, okay, it's not just me. Because Will also really liked it. He was sorry that he slept. He has learned a new trick, and I'm going to share that with everybody here. Will has learned how to shut off his alarm in his sleep.
Oh,
which,
no.
like, honestly just feels like the scariest fucking thing ever.
Yep, no, that's it for me.
That's your body betraying you.
Yep, that's it. That's how you know the machines have gotten into you, is now your body is out there working them and you're not even conscious.
Oh, man. You're an asshole.
Your body has become one with the machine. There it is. You don't even have to think anymore. You just do it.
Oh, jeez. Thank you, Sejohn, for introducing a trend to this episode. I'm going to finish by talking about Big Trouble. Do you remember Big Trouble?
I actually just watched it last week.
Did you really?
I read the book over the summer. Yeah.
Oh, I've never read the book.
Oh, it's a Dave Barry book. I think is that the dude's name?
I believe that is. Yeah, because I mean, in the credits they say that. So we're talking like Tim Allen, Rene Russo, Ben Foster, Zooey Deschanel. Tom
I love
Sizemore.
that style of comedy. It's very much like a Get Shorty style comedy.
Oh yeah, dude. As soon as Dennis Farina showed up, I'm like, zang. Of course, it's Barry Sonnenfeld too, who did Get Shorty. So
well, right, but like that, but in that genre of film is what I'm saying. So like the multi storylined comedy. Snatch is another good example of that too. Actually, I think Snatch and Lock, Stock, I think Guy Ritchie kind of really excelled at that kind of storytelling.
He nailed it. He definitely nailed it.
Yeah, so like the crazy like 5 or 6 different storylines that you're following that all keep running into each other in glorious ways. I love that movie. Why were you watching Big Trouble?
Because we were watching the Orville. I'm going to blame the Orville on this one. And then we switched back to regular TV from our Hulu box, which is a PlayStation 4. I don't know why I called it a Hulu box. And it was on. It was just on HBO, was Big Trouble. And it's the scene where DJ Qualls gets arrested because he took the gun from Andy Richter.
Right.
And I'm like, I've never seen this movie. This movie was the movie that came out the week I started working at Blockbuster. Everybody talked about it, but I just never got a chance to see it. And I'm like, but this one scene, I'm going to watch this movie. And then last night, that was what we did after Psych. We got some Chick-fil-A, and we came home and we watched Big Trouble. And that movie is hilarious.
It is. It's everybody involved in that movie is spot on in that film. Like there is not really a bad spot of that movie. Sofia Vergara, like really early on in her career.
Dude, Jason Lee, my Jason Leader, was going nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean Johnny Knoxville and Tom Sizemore as the 2 weirdos in the bar is perfect, and like everything about that movie is fantastic.
Heavy D as the FBI agent.
Oh my god, it's a body shot or what is the other one called? I forget.
Oh, it's an extremity shot.
Yeah,
we called that an extremity shot. Usually it's not fatal, unlike a torso shot.
Right.
Would you like to see a torso shot?
God, I love that whole shtick with the two of them is fantastic
Yeah, Omar
as the
Epps and
agents.
Heavy D as the agents are great, and they're like referencing of code 7166 dash -04.
Oh God, man.
That movie's really really good. Janine Garofalo again.
Yeah, Janeane Garofalo like doing the rare like film appearance and again just doing amazing. Her and what's his
Patrick
name there, Putty.
Warburton.
Yeah, Patrick Warburton as the cops is good too. Patrick Warburton's journey in that movie is phenomenal.
Yeah, it really is. Like everything about that, dude. Stanley Tucci,
Mhm.
dude. Like all of these amazing actors.
Oh
Like
my God, I just remembered Stanley Tucci in the foot scene.
the noise that it makes
Oh
when he
God.
licks. Oh, oh.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So watch Big Trouble. That's the
Hmm.
recommendation from the Say Report this week. Sejohn, watch the Psych movie.
All right.
You do it before next episode. That should not be hard for you. You watched 3 or 4 seasons to my 1.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you got like 3 John Cenas.
I did. I got 3. I think there's a couple I haven't seen yet, so I got to get back in and get the rest of my Cenas.
I got a Cena John Cena.
Oh, there it is. That's what we have to show.
I'm going to see Ferdinand. That's what I'm doing. That's on my plan
Oh.
for later on today.
That's actually not a bad Cena to go see. All right, I completely, honestly, in the wake of Coco, I completely forgot about Ferdinand coming out. So
Which is actually really sad because Ferdinand did all it could to remind you that it was going to be a movie.
no, I'm excited for it. Still.
I'm
It's
excited
just,
for it too. It's just that like the marketing for Ferdinand was so aggressive.
Really, I don't. We've talked about this before. I don't run in the right circles to get any real marketing for anything nowadays. I have to go looking for stuff. So
I mean, I guess I say that because they now have like a TV in the lobby of the showcase,
mhm,
and it shows trailers, and
mhm.
it showed Ferdinand like every 2 trailers.
Jesus, somebody paid some good money for that one.
Yeah,
Um,
Blue Sky
yeah.
Entertainment.
Whew.
Alrighty. Anything to add before we say farewell to these lovely people?
Nah, happy holidays. We will see you again. What we got one more before
We'll be
Christmas,
one
right?
on Christmas.
Oh,
That will be our
yeah.
gift to you. Will be our Christmas episode.
Fantastic.
So you have that to look forward to. And until then, you can get me on Twitter at Devon D. Decker.
And you can get me at Siege versus the World.
So now, William, light your candle, sing a tra-la-la, and send us home.
Thank you for listening to the Say Report with your host Devon Decker and Stephen Serwick. Please follow the guys on Twitter and Facebook by searching for The Say Report, and you can always subscribe on your podcast channel so this is delivered straight to you and you can enjoy it every week. With apologies to your mother, we'll see you next time.